Peace out.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Farrand Film. Today I am bringing you a preview of the schedule and the lineup for this year's Manchester International Film Festival. It's a milestone 10th edition of the Manchester Film Festival. It is at the usual place of the Odeon Great Northern. It kicks off on Friday the 15th of March and it ends on Sunday the 24th of March. Now, MANIFF or Manchester Film Festival has been something that I've been going to for I was going to say 5 years. Technically, the first one that I went to was 2020. So it's the fifth version this year that I will have been to. And the first one that I went to was purely as a fan. It was purely out of the fact that they'd announced Simon Pegg was going to be there as part of a film that he was in called Lost Transmissions. So I went just to see that and just to see Simon Pegg's Q&A. Then obviously the pandemic hit. And it was the year after where I started covering stuff at the festival. So we did Where Is Nancy for 2021, 2022. We did a couple of the films that were around then. That was the year that I went to go and see Bisping, and I got to meet Michael Bisping as well. Last year's 2023 festival covered Ryan Lane. Covered Love Without Walls, obviously, as well on the podcast. So there's been a couple of films that I've been able to champion through this festival and through the podcast, and there's a few that I'm really looking forward to seeing this year. So we kick off on Friday, the 15th of March, and it is a UK premiere of the film The Convert, starring Guy Pearce. So The Convert is directed by Lee Tamahori and tells the story of a preacher who arrives at a British settlement in 1830s New Zealand. His violent past is soon drawn into question, and his faith is put to the test as he finds himself caught in the middle of a bloody war between Maori tribes. The opening night of the festival is always a good one to start off with, obviously. They do, it's only one film on the opening night, but it's a sort of bigger it's almost like a bigger project, a bigger production type film that goes on there. So like I say, it was Ryan Lane last year, it was Wolf the year before. So again, it's usually a big one to kick everything off. And then Saturday the 16th is when we really get into it. So I'm just going to run through, I'm not going to give you a synopsis for every film. I'm just going to run through the timings and the films that are on, directors, and anything that I think might be worth mentioning. So Saturday the 16th at 1 p.m. you've got Four Daughters, directed by Caltha Ben-Hania. 1:10 is Sorcery, directed by Christopher Murray. 3:20 is Disco Boy, directed by Giacomo Abarese. I do apologize if I'm going to say some of these names wrong because I probably am going to. At 3:30, one to mention Mother Couch, directed by Nicholas Larson. It has Ewan McGregor and Rhys Ifans in it. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning those two names, obviously, because the popular names, people are aware of who they are. But sometimes with the festival, these people end up going along to the festival. So if you're thinking of which ones it is that you want to pick up, and if you want to try and snag a look at a famous face, it might be worth going for these ones where they have a big name attached to them. 5:30 p.m. is Lena Headey's directorial debut, The Trap. 5:40 p.m. Forever Forever, directed by Anna Buriatkova. 8 p.m. Sometimes I Think About Dying, directed by Rachel Lambert, with a central performance from Daisy Ridley. And the final one on the Saturday, is 8:10 p.m. Daughter of the Sun, directed by Ryan Ward. So that is Saturday the 16th. Now, of those, I'd be keen to see Mother Couch, The Trap, and Sometimes I Think About Dying. 16th is my birthday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out and go and spend the day in the cinema for that one, but we will see. We will see. Sunday the 17th, we kick off at 12 p.m. with Oink, directed by Masha Halberstad, which is an animation. 12:30 is the first of the short sessions, so the first festival always champions short films as well, and it is Northwest Shorts 1, so it's just the first round of selected short films from the Northwest. 1:40 About Dry Glasses, directed by Nuri Bilge Ceylan. 3 p.m. Dove Brush from Ollie Sanin. 5:20 Radical by Christopher Zala. 5:30 is a film called The New Boy that's been directed by Warwick Thornton, and it also stars Kate Blanchett. So will the former Queen make an appearance? Who knows? 7:30 La Chimera, directed by Alice Waracher, that has Josh O'Connor starring in it. 750 half. I've already botched that title there. Five and a half love stories in an apartment in Vilnius, Lithuania, directed by Tomas Vengry. Now, 18th, so Monday the 18th, when we get into the week where it's Monday to Friday, we slow down with screenings a little bit because obviously people are in work. It's not going to be as busy during the day. So on Monday the 18th, 5:45 p.m., The Universal Theory by Tim Kroger. 6 p.m., Only the River Flows by Shujin Wei. 8 p.m., Slow by Magia Kavtaradze, I hope. 8:10 p.m., Do You Love Me by Tonya Noyabrova. Into Tuesday the 19th, 6 p.m. Big one to kick off Tuesday on 6 p.m. Io Capitano, directed by Matteo Garrone. It was a Best Foreign Language Film nominee for the Golden Globes. And I'm recording this on Saturday the 20th of June, Christ. Saturday the 20th of January. And it might be that it gets nominated for an Oscar this week as well. So if it picks up a nomination, come March, it's going to be a fantastic one for you to try and get out to see at MANIFF. 8:30 p.m. Birthday Girl directed by Michael Noah. 8:30 also is Kim's Video, directed by Ashley Sabin and David Redman. That's a documentary. Now, the one thing that took me by surprise this year is that there doesn't seem to be as many documentaries at the festival as there usually are. Documentaries were something that were quite a big thing. Maybe that was just a pandemic thing and that they were potentially not easier to make, but there was more accessibility with things like that. Whereas there's much more narrative features this year, which is a great thing to see as well. Wednesday the 20th, 6 p.m. The More, directed by Chris Cronin. 6:20 Sleep, directed by Jason Yu. 8:10 is the second of the Northwest Short Selection, and 8:30 is Citizen Sleuth, directed by Chris Kasich. Thursday the 21st, big newsworthy one here. So we're kicking off 6 p.m. with the 39 Steps. Now, this is a restoration of the 1978 version of the film, The 39 Steps, presented by ITV. Tickets will include a pre-screening discussion on film restoration. So that's going to be a really interesting one to get around to seeing, especially if you're into films and film restoration and you're maybe a film student. That might be an interesting one to go around and see. 6:10 is a short session. 6:20 is Giant's Kettle, directed by Mark Hukaka. Oh, I do apologize to the team behind this film. Giant's Kettle, directed by Marku Hakala and Mari Kaki. Maybe we got that right. That is a silent film, just to throw that one out there. 8 p.m. is The Wait, directed by F. Javier Gutierrez. 8:10 is a short session again, and 8:15 is straight through. Come on, Adam. Straight Through Crew, directed by David Campion. Okay, so there's an awful lot going on already there. Friday the 22nd, 5:50 p.m. is another documentary. This is The Rising Sun, directed by Aliona Caparina. 6 p.m. We Dare to Dream. Now, I've sort of highlighted this one as one to mention. It is a documentary film. It's directed by Wad Al Khatib. I hope I've said that right again. Who also directed For Sama. So it's a follow-up of a really critical acclaimed film. Another one that's going to be worthwhile going getting checking out to see. 6:10 p.m. is a short session again. That's short session 3. 8 p.m. is Dito or Ditto. I think it's Dito. It's a capital D, small I and a T, and then a capital O, directed by Takahashi Yuki. 8:10 is student shorts, so short films made by students all around the country, not just in Manchester. 8:20 is a film called The Can, directed by Mitchell Kendall Smith. That is one that is definitely on my radar that I'm going to go and try and check out because just the pure premise on its own, and you can find out more about it from the MANIFF Film Festival website, sounded so intriguing to me. So that one is definitely on my list. Saturday the 23rd, into the penultimate day now. There's a lot going on Saturday the 23rd. 1 p.m. of God's Men by Wahid Iqbal. 1:10 Pratfall by Alex Andre. 3:20 Short Session 4. 3:30 Unicorns, directed by Salih Al Hassini and James Krishna Floyd. 3:30 as well is Four Little Adults. Selmaville, directed by Selma Vilhoon. 5:50 is Short Session 5. At 6 p.m. is Queen of Bones, directed by Robert Brudeau. This features Jacob Tremblay, Martin Freeman, and Taylor Schilling. So there's quite a few big names in there. 6:10, I Think I'm Sick, directed by Danny Gavetz. 8:10, Short Session 6. 8:15, Die Before You Die, directed by Dan Pringle. And 8:30, Rosalie, directed by Stephanie Di Gusto. Now, On to Sunday the 24th, so the final day of the festival. There's an awful lot going on here, including one of the things that I'm extremely interested by. So Sunday the 24th, 12 p.m. animated shorts. 12 p.m. is also Northwest Shorts, the third selection. 1 p.m. Dagger by Matthew Butler Hart. 2:10 Short Session 7. 2:30 The Boy in the Woods, directed by Rebecca Snow, featuring Richard Armitage. Richard Armitage recently in Film You Want on Netflix, quite a well-known actor. I believe local to the area as well, so maybe he might be making an appearance. 3 p.m. of Living Without Illusion, Catherine and Ludin. 4:10 short session 8. That is the final short session of the festival. And then the one that immediately hooked my eyes up straight off, 6 p.m. the final night, the final showing of the festival. Closing night promises to be a cinematic treat with the screening of the latest Rose Glass film, Love Lies Bleeding, starring Kristen Stewart, Katie O'Brien, and Ed Harris. Love Lies Bleeding sees Stewart star as Lou, a reclusive gym manager who falls hard for Jackie, an ambitious bodybuilder who's heading to Las Vegas to pursue her dream. Their love soon leads to violence as they get pulled deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. That was a film that when I was going through the list of releases for 2024, I marked instantly as one that I wanted to see. And the fact that hopefully I'm going to be able to be there, I can go and see that early in March. So that is the final film of the Manchester International Film Festival this year. I hope you can agree there's so much going on. If you find yourself at an odds to go and see anything, I highly, highly recommend that you just go into one of these screenings, because you never know what you're going to see unless you've sort of been and you've had a look at the trailer and the synopsis and stuff. But there are always surprises. There are always films that, like, especially like if someone said to me last year, do you want to go and watch a film called Love Without Walls? I probably would have said no, but my God, am I glad that I did. And I'm so glad that I was able to champion it, probably in the same way that I did with something like Bisping. Like, and I know of Michael Bisping. I'm not a UFC fan, but actually being there and seeing all that go off, and the premiere and him being there with the Q&A, it was fantastic to see. So film enthusiasts can secure their seats now as tickets and passes are on sale. The festival offers 5 and 10 film passes, providing flexibility for attendees to enjoy multiple films with friends or family. You can find all the information that you need on the Manchester International Film website, which is manchesterfilmfestival.com. It's all over Twitter, it's all over Instagram, it's all over Facebook. You're not going to miss it. I highly, highly recommend that if you have been sleeping on this festival so far, if you've never been to a film festival before and you think, I don't really know how I can go about it, you buy your ticket like you would do for an ordinary film. You go on the website, you buy your ticket, you're booked in for a certain time, you go and watch that film, you go and enjoy a film that you probably wouldn't usually get around to seeing anyway. So I highly, highly recommend that you give MANIFF a go this year. I'll be there for a few of them, as many as I can do. I'll be covering them on the podcast as well. Sometimes I'm lucky enough that pre-festival I get in touch with some of the filmmakers and I can do some pre-festival stuff as well, where I can interview them beforehand like I did with Love Without Walls. So hopefully I can do that again this year. But I highly, highly recommend that you give Manchester International Film Festival a go this year. Like I say, go over to the website, manchesterfilmfestival.com, for any information to buy your tickets, to buy your passes. And I am going to leave you with the thing that started the podcast. Apologies to audio listeners if you just heard a bit of a jolly tune instead of actually seeing the trailer for the festival. But I'm going to close out with the trailer again, just to give you a reminder of all the films that it was that I've just mentioned. Stay safe, look after each other, and I will see you hopefully at Manchester International Film Festival.
Peace out.